Back again at postpartum week 3, and I'm here with baby Lucas. He decided to join the video today. He actually really hasn't left my arms very much this week, which might sound obvious for a newborn, but this is like the next level. And that's because although we tried our best with my daughter Lila to keep her at a safe distance from Lucas, unfortunately, one of her bugs that she brought home from school, from daycare, reached him, and he came down with bronchiolitis. And we spent this weekend in the hospital. When babies are so small, pretty much any sickness can take them out really quickly. And so this week has been totally focused on Lucas's health and restoring him back to good health. And so it's been really hard. It's been a really hard week. The timing of Lucas going to the hospital also coincided with the timing of my mother-in-law's departure. She took care of me and of us, really our whole family, for the first couple of weeks postpartum, and took care of cooking, was an extra hand, helped make sure the house was in order, along with our amazing kind of housekeeping team. And with her departure and then Lucas being sick, it kind of got real really fast. Like we found ourselves going into our frozen meal reserve and the house kind of being a bit more of an explosion. And I also found that I started this week doing way more than I planned to or was supposed to with kind of the household duties. And also with care of Lila as well as Lucas. In the kind of traditional postpartum, the new mother is tasked with resting, recovering, and then feeding and doing basic care of the baby. And that's already a lot, actually. But this week has been a week of kind of all hands on deck. And so last night I found myself at dinner and Warren had just finished a work call and was engaging me and asking me all these questions, and I just felt almost like the chemical jet lag feeling. And I'm kind of found myself thinking in my head, do I push through and just do what we need to do tonight and then start again tomorrow, or do I just share with what's going on with how I'm feeling? And I did that, and I was like, I just feel like I have nothing left to give right now. I feel like the past couple of days especially, but this past week has been really a lot, and I just need to go to bed. So I feel so thankful to have Warren as my partner and greatest supporter this morning. He kind of took over everything so I could sleep in, and we brought in reinforcements. Lila's out of school a couple of days this week because of different Spanish holidays, and so called our babysitter that we had vetted before Lucas came. We called in our housekeeping team, and our friends also came over and cooked food with us and made food for us. So I'm so thankful for all the support. And what I realized is that the first couple of weeks of postpartum, I have felt so good. And my video share of last week was like wanting to get out and do things. And I felt good, maybe because my body got lucky and recovered well, but more so because I had so much support. And I was able to really do what I needed to physically for recovery. And it's like so amazing to me as I reflect how quickly that can change and turn. And it's definitely, I feel at this point, a big moment of checking in, because you can plan for as much of life as possible, but then things don't go to plan and life can happen sometimes. And with a sick kid and then a toddler at home, there's no space. I found that there is no space for prioritizing my care, even though, yes, oxygen mask, and even though the postpartum early days are so important for the mother's recovery. Before Lucas got sick, it was like a no-brainer and so obvious that I need to prioritize recovery during this time. And once his cough and congestion started getting worse, and once we went to the doctor and then were admitted to the emergency room, it was like any thought about my needs just went out the window. And so now they're slowly starting to come back, and I'm starting to remember that that is always important. And my needs can be met when I do have the right team around me, which isn't easy, especially in real time and without sleep and with a lot of worrying, because it's not just the lack of sleep of waking up to check his temperature or to feed him. It's also all of the emotional energy that goes into just feeling worry and concern for having a sick baby. I really have a lot of reflection to do as well on what it means to be in early postpartum and to take care of a new mom when there are other kids at home, because it's easy when Lila's in her school for 8 hours a day, and then she gets home in the late end of the day, and there's a couple of hours, but full-time care of a toddler, there's so much energy that goes into that, and it's fun and it's joyful a lot of the time, and it's also exhausting, and there really is no space for the rest that is so important for the new mom and for the new baby. So yeah, it's been a really interesting week. I think a good experience, and really an opportunity to check in. Lucas went to the hospital on exactly the halfway point, so day 20 of postpartum. And I also realized during that stay in the hospital, because I got to stay with him, and I obviously didn't let him out of my arms or sight for pretty much any of that time, over those kind of couple day period. I realized that even though it was for the circumstances were not good of being in the hospital, being back in the hospital, being back on the same maternity ward where I first spent the initial days postpartum, it was a really good check-in and reminder of how important it is just to be with our babies and to be with ourselves as we transition to motherhood or mothering of 2 or 3 or however many kids, and just spending hours like looking at him sleeping. I'm gonna cry saying this, but just spending so much time looking at him and just holding my hand on his chest and doing skin to skin and being together, that is enough. And at the end of the day, that's really all that matters, is being together and being in this kind of quiet, calm, safe space of the bed. Yeah, he is on the mend, and I am in this space of checking in and reflecting and reorienting and remembering that it's not about keeping things on a schedule or on a plan as much as it is giving myself permission to start over when unexpected life things happen. So starting over. And it comes at a good time, because tomorrow my mom gets into town. She comes and she'll stay with us for about a week. And it's going to be a time of really practicing receiving again and asking for what I need, communicating. There's a big part of me that wants to play host and show her this beautiful city that we're living in and make sure that she has a really good time on her trip. And there's also maybe the wiser voice in me that says, that's a wonderful intention, and your job right now, Elizabeth, is to be in this early postpartum recovery and not to violate the needs and the also kind of parameters of this time. So more to come on that. But I am glad that I'm here to check in and to share what's real, because this is so much a part of postpartum, whether Lucas got sick or not. It's so easy to shift out of the principles, so here I am getting back on track. And with that, I'm complete.